friends, Heidi here from Rain Country Homestead, and I'm going to show you one of our favorite things that we make after Thanksgiving with leftover turkey. In fact, it's become tradition now that we have this the day after Thanksgiving and then maybe a few days later. So anyway, it is just a white gravy with turkey. We just call it turkey gravy, and we typically serve it over rice, but it would also do very well over noodles. So again, this is one of those things that I just make it a little bit different every time, but there are some key ingredients that are the same. Carrots aren't normally what I add, but I want to get a little more veggies into it this time, so I'm going to put in some carrots. I'm going to chop up some onion, and I'm going to chop up some garlic. This is my garden garlic that I fermented. And then I'm gonna saute them a little bit in some butter. Oh yes, and some mushrooms as well. So I'm gonna get to chopping. All right, so I have my mushrooms, my onions, my garlic, and my carrots all in this pan. I'm gonna throw in a big blob of grass-fed butter, and I'm gonna go stick it on the wood stove to saute for a little bit, and then I'll come back and show you the spices I put in and what else. My veggies are all soft now. You can see the mushrooms are not filling up the pan as much as they were. And so now I'm ready to go on to the next step. Now I do want to say that one thing I forgot is when I decide to saute vegetables like I did in this one, I also, besides the butter, I like to add my raisin vinegar. It's a good wine replacement if you like to saute with wine and butter. The raisin vinegar makes an awesome replacement for that, for sauteing. So the next step is then to make my gravy base. And whenever I'm doing a white sauce, I don't like to do it as a roux because I want to make sure my gravy doesn't actually get browned. I want it to be white. So I'm using milk and heavy cream because I want a nice creamy sauce. And you can use any kind of flour, about 1/4 cup, which is what I've got here. And then you're going to mix that in really good. You don't want to put this directly into your hot stuff until this is mixed thoroughly. Otherwise, you don't put your milk in there and then add your flour if it's hot, because otherwise it'll make lumps. So you have to make sure that you mix your flour in real good with some cold milk. Or you can use water, but when I'm doing a white gravy, I always use milk. Yeah, I prefer to use flour, not cornstarch, but if I'm going to use any kind of starch type thing, I don't use cornstarch. I use tapioca or arrowroot. Those are two really good ones to use in place of cornstarch, because most of your cornstarch is going to be real difficult to find some that's non-GMO. Alright, now that I've got that mixed in there real good, I'm going to go ahead and pour that into my vegetables and mix that in. And then you can add as much milk and cream as you want at that point, depending on how much you want. If it looks like you need more thickening, then you may need to mix up some more flour mixture to put in there. But what I find is when I start adding my dried herbs and stuff, that's going to soak up plenty of moisture as well. So what I'm going to add to this is some basil, some more garlic, but in the granulated form. So I've got the garlic from the garden, plus I've got some granulated garlic, because, well, we like garlic. My red pepper flakes. I didn't get to add these the other night because we had Ryan's girlfriend. She doesn't like anything real spicy. So I left them out of that batch. And about a teaspoon salt, my sage, this time I'm going to add some dried tomatoes from the garden. And you should be able to find a video right up here on how I dehydrate my garden grown tomatoes. And I don't have a video on dehydrating jalapenos. This was a new jar. Because these are from, oh, these are so spicy they're burning my nose. These are dry. Anyway, I dried all those in summer of 2015, before I started doing YouTube. And of course, sorry, that jalapeno is just really getting to me. Some of my dehydrated mixed greens, and you can find a link to that video right up there. That way you'll see mostly what I use in that. Okay, so I'm just going to mix that in real good. I'm going to go put this back on the wood stove and let it get nice and thick. So I'll be back when this is all thickened up. Alright, so my gravy is all nice and thick. My vegetables are all cooked. So all I need to do now is cut up the turkey, the leftover turkey, and just put in as much as I feel like having in there, which usually I put quite a bit. So it's very, very meaty. But obviously you can do this however you want. And I've got two little doggies sitting at my feet going, yum yum, I want turkey. So yeah, just however much you want to put in there, and then once you do this, it's just a matter of heating it through again. So when we're ready to eat this, I'll cook the rice and put this back on the wood stove and just heat it through. And then we've got our turkey gravy, and that's probably pretty good. Let's see what that looks like there. Yeah, I might toss a little bit more in. It's not like we don't want to use this turkey up, because we do. Cut a little bit more. It's a really very simple, frugal recipe. And let me give a couple of goodies to the doggies. Sitting so nicely. And there we go. And then once this heats through, I can always add a little bit more milk if I want it to be a little more, a little less thick, because it got a little thicker than I expected. But that's easy to fix. It's a lot easier to make it less thick by just adding a little more milk than it is having to try to thicken it up by remixing, you know, the flour and milk and then pouring it in there. But either way, that's really all you got to do. So a simple, easy recipe that to use, and a way to use up that leftover chicken and whatever garden vegetables you may still have, you know, onions, carrots, and so on. Whatever sounds good. Even some green tomato you can throw in there. Just cut it up real small and simmer it or saute it with the rest of the vegetables. And I won't say I guarantee, but I'm pretty sure most of your family will really like it. This simple recipe has just been very popular for our family, and my oldest son in particular looks forward to it. I think it's his favorite part of Thanksgiving is the next day when I make this, and then they come over and we all just have a very simple dinner of turkey gravy over rice. And again, you can serve it over noodles or even those shirataki noodles, which is what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to make myself up some shirataki noodles and put it over that instead. And then Mr. Rain will have it with his rice. So, alright. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you can take this and run with it and make your own little tweaks to it to make it totally you. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.